Yes, now blessed now. King of the Pit TV. We're continuing on through our little insight on CBGBs. So part one is out. If you want to correct any information I'm reading or tell me your own stories of the venue or anything you know about the venue, please let me know. I never attended it. Never attended it. So we're going from the closure onwards, right? Many punk rock bands played at CBGB. And classes in session, by the way, people. Many punk rock bands played at CBGB when they found it was going to close in hopes that their support would keep it from closing. Man, we had a good venue nearabouts us, which closed about 20 times, had about 50 last shows, and I'll tell you what, you don't, well, I guess you do know what you got. You don't know what you've got until there's threats that it's going to go. One of the best venues we had here, no security, no barricades, great bookings, great space, got done for noise. Offices in the surrounding blocks, they blamed it on something else, but and the space still isn't being used. Years and years ago, and the space is still not being used. It was a great venue, it was profitable, and you know what I mean. The shirt and ties that worked around it didn't like people messing around on the outside. I guess it is what it is, isn't it? Money is money. So a promoter in New York organised CBGB's final weeks of shows to book many of the artists who made CBs famous. Avail, the Bouncing Souls, and newer acts opened during the last week, which included multi-night stands by the Bad Brains and the Dictators. I don't know who the Dictators are, and an acoustic set by Blondie. The final show, broadcast live on Sirius satellite radio on October 15th, was played by Patti Smith, helped on some songs by Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Television's Richard Lloyd too played in a few, including Marquee Moon, Nearly Finished, Smith, and band playing Gloria. Sorry, I have no clue what I'm reading here, people. Right, who cares? Who cares? In her final encore, Smith named musicians and other music figures who had died since playing at CBGB. On October 15, 2006, upon Patti Smith's last show, the storied band, bar and club closed. Right. The aftermath. After closing, the old CBGB venue remained open as CBGB Fashions retail store, wholesale department and an online store until the 31st, 2006. CBGB Fashions moved to 1923 St Mark's Place on November the 1st and closed nearly 2 years later. So was this a different business? Hilly Crystal died, rest in peace. Hilly Crystal died from complications of lung cancer in 2007. In early October, Crystal's family and friends hosted a private memorial service in the nearby YMCA. Soon there was a public memorial contributed by CBGB one-time staff and others. Man, that was only a year after the close. Crystal's ex-wife Karen Crystal and his daughter Lisa Crystal Bergman battled legally over the purported $3 million CBGB estate and settled in June 2009, with Bergman receiving most of the money left after payment of creditors and estate taxes. In 2011, a group of unknown investors bought the remaining CBGB assets, including the associated intellectual property and original interior. The location is now occupied by John Barbatos Fashions. So, in 2011, a group of unknown investors bought the remaining CBGB assets, including the associated intellectual property. So, does this mean when you buy a CBGB shirt or merchandise to any extent, it's going towards this shadowed figure? An unknown investor? I don't like that. That's weird, isn't it? That's weird. In December 2015, various news outlets reported on a rebranded CBGB reopening at Newark International Airport as CBGB LAB Lounge and Bar by New York chef Harold Moore, which had opened at the end of December 2015. Right. Some factoids in regards to venue now. We got an image of what it now is. John Varvatos, 315 Bowery. Definitely cleaned up the front a little there. That's mad to see though, that innit? Because I've seen so much imagery of CBGB. It feels weird calling it CBGB without the S. By late 2007, fashion designer John Barbados planned to open a store in CBGB's former space 315 Bowery, but to tastefully trail CBGB's legacy, rock and roll stickers on the walls and much of the graffiti at the toilets were preserved, as were some playbills found behind the wall from shows at the club's 10th anniversary in 1983. Wow! The store opened in 2008. Playbills, an American monthly magazine. I've never come across the word playbill before. It's pretty cool that they left some remnants of the club, but of course it is just business. You know what I mean? There's a capitalist idea in regards to doing so. It's not out of respect. Who's this John guy? You know what I mean? John probably not even present. It's probably the name of a brand, right? In 2008, a Soho art gallery dedicated to music photography, the Morrison Hotel, opened a second location in one-time CBGB gallery at 313 Bowery, but the Morrison Hotel gallery closed in 2011. The space was then occupied by a surf-orientated Patagonia store until late 2021. Called the Extra Place, the alley behind the building became a pedestrian mall. The Dead Boys Cheetah Chrome rude. All of Manhattan has lost its soul to money lords, yet reflected, if that alley could talk, it's seen it all. CBGB's nomination as a landmark drew an explanation. CBGB was founded in 73 at 315 Bowery in a former 19th century saloon on the first floor of the Palace Lodging House. The legendary music venue fostered new genres of American music, including punk and art rock, that defined the culture of downtown Manhattan in the 70s, and that still resonates today. In this role as a cultural incubator, CBGB served the same function as the theatres and concert halls of the Bowery's storied past. The former club, now occupied by retail business, remains a pilgrimage site for legions of music fans. Influence. CBGB's second awning, the one in place when the club closed in 2006, was moved into the lobby of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. So I didn't know it's an actual venue, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'd like to visit there. I would really like to visit there. Don't know what I think of the triangular shape of it, but the CBGB Festival produced large free concerts in Times Square and Central Park in July 2012. They also showcased hundreds of bands in venues across the city. The festival premiered dozens of rock and roll movies in theatres around Manhattan. Directed by Randall Miller and starring Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman, that rings a bell. Who's that? Became a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company. I passed the Royal Shakespeare Company the other day. Well, the other week, should I say. I was in London. The film CBGB about Crystal and the origins of the club was released in October 2013 to harsh reviews. Iconic in American popular culture, CBGB's image remains storied. Harsh reviews. No doubt I've not heard anybody ever reference the CBGB film. That's mad. CBGB was in a promotional ad aired during New York City's bid to host the 2012 Olympic Games. Appears in the 2010 rhythm game Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, as if. In the Shapers song, you know what I mean? Who's making money off of that? Them investors probably making a couple of quid publishing the image where needs be, right? In the Shapers song, Old School Punk Star, the venue is referenced in the bridge and to rock on at the CBGB. Rapper Aesop Rock mentioned CBGB in his song Shrunk. Telephone uncovered by purveyors of the Ouija. Then checked against the CBGB women's room graffiti. Talking Heads mentioned CBGB in the song Life During Wartime. This ain't no Mud Club or CBGB. LCD Sound System's 2002 debut single Losing My Edge references CBGB. I was the first guy playing Daft Punk to the Rock Kids. I played it at CBGB's. Everybody thought I was crazy. And there we go. Interesting stuff. We don't have any further information. We don't really have too much interesting offshoots as far as the links are concerned. Just bands and genres of music and so on and so forth. So that's a little factoid. We've got a drummer from the band Libertyville performing on the CBGB's stage there. I've heard a lot of interesting stuff about the CBGB's toilets and how bad it was. So yeah, if anyone's got any stories, please let me know. And I'm going to keep on moving, people. So peace, one love.